Hello everyone, this is Candy, the 614 Stitcher, and today is Tuesday, September the 26th, 2023, and this is my Flosstube episode 96. I would like to say hello and welcome to any and all new subscribers. Even if you have just been checking out my channel for a while, hello and welcome. I hope that I can keep you hanging around with some enabling. And to my returning friends, thank you so very much for coming back each and every time that I upload a video. I would like to say thank you to all of you who gave well wishes to Albert. Miraculously, he is doing very much better. He has been taking his medicine unwillingly, but he is getting better. Today, he was actually jumping up. My son came by and he was jumping up to try to get my son to play with him. So I know that he is doing very much better, because up until probably Monday, he was just laying around. He is still on his antibiotics and getting his ear medicine, but I know that he is feeling so much better. So thank you all so very much for your kindness shown towards my fur baby. I have had a pretty good week of stitching. I have been a little busy, which is why I'm coming to you a day late. One of my friends, EJ, has decided to learn that she wanted to learn how to quilt. And so yesterday it was, I was I did give her some instructions on how to cut her fabric and everything. And so that's why I didn't get to film yesterday. And then I went to Keepsakes on Saturday. I did some sewing this week. I have some crochet this week. So, and of course, as always, stitching. So we're going to just jump right in and tell you what I got into this week. I didn't have any new starts, even though I had really wanted to do a new start. With ABCINGO going on, I just didn't, I spent the time on the whips and did not get to a new start. So I'm hoping that within the coming week, with October being a new month, I will get to start my new project. I should have put it in so you can see what I was starting. I'm going to be starting a Carolyn Manning design that I picked up at Color and Cotton. I believe there's going to be one more new start in October. One of the things that I have noticed about the projects that I have and the whips that I have is they are large. They are on the medium to large size, most of them. I don't have very many smalls, if any, that I can recall right now. So I'm going to be, in my 2024 plans, I'm going to be making an effort to put more smalls into my projects and whips. So that's why I don't have a new start this week, because I had planned on it. But ABCINGO just wrapped up on Monday, and I do have a blackout for ABCINGO. I meant to get my board. So I do have a blackout because I did finish my M project. If you recall, I still needed to do my M, so I will be showing that to you and all of the rest of the week's projects up until the 25th. So let's get started. On the 19th, the letter W was called, and my W was Winter Bluster by Blendon Place. And this is out of a Just Cross Stitch magazine. And it is right here. This magazine is dated 2016. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where it is now. So I started on his face so that I could continue this gust of wind that's whirling around him. So I put the stitches in his face, and I put in the last little bit of the whirl of the wind. Let me look at my chart here. It actually, yeah, that was the end of the whirl coming down this way. So now I still need to finish putting in his face, and there's a lot more still left to go, but that's where I'm at for Winter Bluster. I put in 210 stitches on this. I did make some changes to this project. I'm using a toile black for the hat, and for the wind I'm also using a toile. You can't really see it sparkle in the camera. You can see it on you can see it sparkly in when I'm looking at it. But this is one of the smalls that I need to be incorporating in with my large projects. If you are new here, I am a seasonal stitcher, which means I stitch on projects within the season. I normally would not be stitching on a winter project, but for ABCINGO, I tried to pull as many projects as I could with the letters involved. So that was W, Winter Bluster by Blendon Place. On the 20th, the letter O was called, and my letter O stands for Old West Fabric. And that project is my Sunflower Fairy by Nora Corbette. And here's a picture of what it will look like someday. And here's a picture of where it was when I last worked on it. And here is where it is now. So I brought up, let me get my, some of these, it seemed like it was so long ago that I worked on them. So I continued up the stem, and I have actually gotten in some of the petals that are falling from the sunflower. This was a gift. My friend Julie gave this chart to me. It was in her mother's stash, and I have been working on it ever since. I put in 161 stitches on this project. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like I was right about here when I picked it up. I will be trying to put this project into my October plans so that I can get some work in on her. It seems like I only get to pull her out once or twice during the year, and I would like to get some more work in on her. It is a very beautiful chart. I will be I did a thread conversion from what was called for, and I will also be doing a skin conversion on her also. That was my Sunflower Fairy. Oh, and the fabric was Old West, and that was by Color and Cotton. The fabric for Winter Bluster is a 28 count, and it was hand dyed by me. And I'm using the DMC with the exception of the toile. It's called for DMC. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's called for DMC, and I'm using the call for DMC with the exception I'm using the black etoile and the light blue etoile for that project. On the 21st, it was the letter I, and it was also hashtag EWFSAL SAL, which stands for Earth, Wind, and Fire SAL. And miraculously enough, my project encompassed both of those. So it was, where's my bag? Ink circles, seasonal sunshine. It was like meant to be, because when she called that letter I the night before, I was like, woohoo, because I already knew that I was going to be working on seasonal sunshine for the Earth, Wind, and Fire SAL. And so it was just meant to be. I was like, woo! So that is what it will look like. I am doing the framed version. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it to you. And here is where I am now. I started in on the grass area and put the motif in, and then I did the fill in. I am 1/3 of the way completed with the grass, and that's where it's at. I stitched on this all day on the 21st, off and on all day, and I put in 395 stitches. That's where it's at. Like, do you see this right here? Do you see this right here? This right here? That's it. Well, this over here too, but we're not counting right now. We're not looking at that part right there. That part will get finished, but this is what I got to go. And it's the end of September. So this is on my Year of WIPs, which is a closed group right now by Melanie Watkins. I hope she does it again next year. I've had a blast, Melanie, doing this. So I hope you do think about doing it again next year. And so with the Year of WIPs, I chose 6 projects. You have to get at least half of those projects finished within the year in order to be eligible for a prize. I have 3 projects completed. This would be number 4. And that is where I am. So it's looking really promising for me to get this finished by December the 18th. I am super excited. Another couple of good stitching sessions on the summer piece, and I can have it completed. I would like to have it completed by at least the end of October so that I can go back, revisit, and correct the winter part and be completely done with it before December even gets here. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like, I can make my goal. I can make my goal. Okay, so on the 22nd, it was the letter J, and my J stands for Jan Hicks Creates. Pardon me. And my project for Jan Hicks Creates is Stitch Happiness, which is also a sampler for Sampler September. I'm having a hard time getting it out of the package. It's very glary. And that is what it looks like, or will look like. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. All right. And here is where I am now. Let me put it on my little board. I managed to put in most all of the alphabet. I'm missing 3 letters, which go over on this side. So I managed to put in all of the alphabet. And I also, that totaled 139 stitches. I am stitching this on a 40 count Heritage silk weaver, and I am using the called for flosses for this. And I don't know if any of you, and maybe it's just me, so if you use silk weaver for fabric, is it just me, or is this fabric really loose? Like, I had to keep double checking. I'm stitching this 1/2, and I had to keep checking that I was in the correct hole, which was taking me some time, because it just seemed like the threads would move around or something. So I don't know. It is a beautiful, you see all that beautiful modeling? It is a beautiful fabric and will go really well with this piece. I just thought it was, this fabric is really loosey-goosey. So if you have stitched on silk weaver before, do you use a Q-snap? I was using my Nurge hoop, and I think I am pulling it too tight because, like, these threads over here are warped. They will not go back into shape. So luckily enough, I have enough to where when I get it framed, I won't have to worry about that. But it is a really loosey-goosey fabric. But I am loving this piece. Some of the alphabet is different to me. Like, there's a letter missing, which I know in olden times they didn't use the letter J, it was, I believe. But anyway, it's a beautiful chart. I don't know if Jan watches me or not, but if you do watch Jan, it's very beautiful. I am loving stitching on this. The alphabet went really quickly. Or it did go very quickly. Like I said, I have 3 more letters to put in when I pick this up again. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to do better next year about planning out projects, because I have projects that I really would like to get finished so that I can start displaying them. With that being said, I have a lot of projects that are already finished that I need to FFO. But, you know, there's a lot of things that, like, I've been working on, that is not one of them, but that I've been working on for multiple years. So I just have to do a better job of planning out my projects. And I think one of the things is because I am a seasonal stitcher, some of the things that don't really fall in a season, I need to add them into a season so that they get worked on a little bit more. If you are a seasonal stitcher and have that same problem, what have you done in order to get your other pieces, you know, more love during the year? I guess is what I'm struggling with, if that makes sense. Okay. We're going to move on to the 23rd, and my 23rd, or the U was called for 23rd, the 23rd, and my U, it stands for Ukrainian Designer, and my Ukrainian designer is Stitchy Princess Black, and she designed the Floral Fairy. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where she is now. So I put in her hair She's actually been called a couple of times. Oh, she was called a couple of times before this. Okay, so I put in her hair, and then I came down and started working on her skirt again. I put in a total of 458 stitches on this project. This project is also on my WIPGO board for PDF pattern. It was the #1 for this month. And I met my goal. In total, I put in 740 stitches on her. And I met the goal on the 23rd. The fabric that I am stitching this on is, I think it's hue. What did I do with the card? It is a Fortnite Fabrics, and it is, I believe, I can't find the card anymore. My little whatcha-name card ain't even in here no more. My progress, my information card. So, but I do know it is a Fortnite fabric. And it's probably a mushroom name because I was in their Fabric of the Month club the year that they did the mushrooms, which is the first year that they were in business. So there she is. I love it. I initially have been thinking that I would not do the other three of these here, that I might just take that out, take this all out, and then I could have it framed right up to there. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Once I get her completely finished, I'm going to make that decision and see if I can just not do these 4 corners around and just have her and the butterflies. There'll be another butterfly that'll come off up into here. But that's where she's at. I love this project. I am using my own color conversion of overdyes for this project. And you see the Fortnite Fabrics, which you wouldn't be able to get it now anyway, because they only dye their fabrics once, and then they don't re-dye, like they don't do re-dyes. So that is my U for Ukrainian designer. On the 24th, the letter C was called, and my C stands for Cottage, as in January Cottage by Country Cottage Needleworks. And here's a picture of what their model looks like. And here's a picture of what mine looks like the last time you saw it. Pardon me. And here's where I am now. So I finished the front of the house all the way down, filled in the windows and the door. And that was 213 stitches. You could also call this the Buckeye house if you wanted to. So the reasoning behind me changing the colors like I did is that the month of January, the birthstone is a garnet. And so I changed January to match my birthstone. And so it was just the house and the word or the month January that I changed. But I used 2 different reds for the house. And then because I changed the house color, I had to change the roof and the window colors. So I used a gray for the roof and the window trim and door, and 2 different reds for the front and the side of the house. But that's why mine looks so different, because when I saw the blue, I was like, well, that blue is pretty and all, but I want something that represents January, and so red was it. This is being stitched on a 14 count Aida, and with the exception of, I'm using all DMC colors. I put in, I said 213 stitches. This is going to come out again. It may come out, I'm planning something for my birthday month. I'm not for sure exactly how it's going to go, because it would have to coincide with Bingo. But I'm thinking that I'm going to do something special for my birthday month with all of my January and or birthday start pieces. So stay tuned for more information on that. So then on Monday, the 25th was called, on the 25th, the letter F was called. And the letter F for me stands for fluttery, as in temperature butterfly, flutterfully. And this is by Stitching Mommy. And this is what this is reminiscent of what mine will look like when it is completed. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here it is now. I have most all of the October in. I have 5, 8, 6, 2, 4, 6. I have 6 more pieces to put in. And that's where it is right now. I added 509 stitches to the October butterfly. And that is where I am now. The butterfly for October is very pastel-y looking to me. The temperatures ranged in the 60s with there were 2 days. So it was in the 60s and 70s, but there were 3 days in a row where it was in the 40s. And I haven't put those colors in yet. They're like here and here. So it'll be very interesting when you see this next time, what those 3 colors will be. But that's my October butterfly. The plan is I have, today is the 26th, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 more days in September, and the plan is to finish these 6 colors before September is out, so that I can start working on the November butterfly at the beginning of October. This project is also on my year of WIPs. The plan is to get it finished by the end of November also, so that I could put in the antennae and have it completed before December the 18th. And I am so happy about it. Okay, so there was one project that I did not get to. It was the letter M. And it was called on September the 14th. And my M stands for Meridan Designs. Where is it? Oh, here it goes. And it is the Teeny Weeny Bikini January. And here's a picture of where it was when I last worked on it. And here, I was just working on it this morning, so it's still in the Q-snap. Here's a picture where it is now. So did I even count the stitches on this? No, but I'm pretty sure I have 100 stitches in. So I came over, I started at the middle of the bikini top and started working this part, the bra part right here. And that's what I did this morning. I don't know. I'm going to have to count those stitches to make sure it does have 100 stitches in it, because I need at least 100. But that's where I'm at for my Teeny Weeny Bikini January. This was a birthday start along this past year in January. And most everybody that participated is already finished. They finished theirs within January. I'm the only one dragging my feet along. I actually restarted this project. I started it on my birthday, and then like a week and a half later, went to Stitch Away. My friend Annette had dyed this fabric, and she gave it to me, and I restarted my bikini at Stitch Away a week later on this fabric. So once I get the bra finished, I have to then do the panty part, and then there are cryonic and beads that have to be added to it. So it'll be a little while still before I get it completely done. But that is my January bikini. I am going to count the stitches, Carolyn, and make sure I have 100. I'm almost positive I do, but I'm going to count and see. So those were my whips for this week in cross stitching. So I am going to break out my plans, because I have crochet and quilting to show. So for the cross stitch, I have 4 more days. Within these 4 days, I'm going to work on finishing the October butterfly. I also would like to put another 1 or 2 days into Home of a Needleworker, which was my new start on September the 1st with Carolyn Zook. And I would like to put another day into Home Sampler also, so that I could get the house started. Home Sampler is on my year of whips. You know, I'm still up in the air about whether it'll get finished or not. I mean, I'm hopeful. But because I didn't work on it for so long now to try to make a grand push at this late state in the game, is going to be, I would probably have to start taking out stuff. Like, I'm going to take out this, I'm going to take out that, in order to make it work. But anything is possible. I'm thinking positively. I'm not thinking negatively. So I want to put in the next 6 segments in the October butterfly, spend another day on Home of a Needleworker, and another day on Home Sampler. And that will probably take me right up until Saturday. So, and then on Saturday, I'm going to spend the day getting my October all planned out. And Sunday is October the 1st. I don't know where the months and days, weeks, and hours are going to, but they are moving by swiftly. So those are my plans for my cross stitching. I don't know if y'all heard him. Now his nails are so short. The doctor cut his nails super short, which I was not happy about. I mean, they needed to be cut. It's so traumatic for the both of us for him to get his nails trimmed. But now you can barely hear him walk through the kitchen. He just came in here and was drinking out of his pan. And you probably didn't even hear him come in the kitchen. So for the next segment, it is quilting. And I did manage to get a little bit of piecing in for this past weekend. I didn't get a lot in. As I said, I went to Keepsakes on Saturday, and Saturday is actually my best day to work on quilting. So let me show you. This is the pattern of the quilt that I'm working on. It is called the Jelly Roll Slice Quilt pattern. If you follow me on Instagram, this was the pattern that I posted that I was working on for National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. And I have started putting the rows together. So I'm just going to show you one of the rows. And this is what it looks like. And then this is row number 2. Row number 1 is opposite of this. So it has this block first, and then, you know, the cross block is what I'm calling it, is the second block. So they alternate down the quilt. I have one more row to put together, and then I will be sewing the rows all together. And so maybe in a week or so, I will have a completed top. I will be going to a quilt store to see about getting it quilted. I can quilt it on my machine, but if I quilt it on my machine, I'm only going to be able to use my walking foot. I have not learned yet how to do free motion quilting on my domestic machine. So I'm going to figure out how to quilt it, and then we'll go from there. I also will need to pick a backing fabric for it, which I'm not like 100% sure, because this fabric line is older. I don't know where. I guess I could get on Etsy and see if I could find some of these prints on Etsy, but I don't know. So that is where I am on my quilting. I am going to get this flimsy finished. I'm going to get my top finished. And what they call them after they're all pieced together, they call them flimsies. So I'm going to get my flimsy together and get started, hopefully this weekend, on my next quilt that I want to make. These are small quilts. They are lap quilts, so they're not taking very much time. They are also very beginner friendly, which also makes them go very quickly because there's not a lot of complex sewing or cutting involved. And so that's how I'm able to kind of crank them out. If I get a good Saturday where I can just sew, I can get things cut and get them sewn in a bulk of the Saturday. So that's what I plan on doing. The next quilt top that I'm planning on making is a layer cake loop. It is by the Fat Quarter Shop. And as you can see, the block construction is very easy. It will end up being a 48.5 by 48.5, which is what I said, a lap quilt. They are actually calling it a throw quilt, but I'm fine with lap quilt. I already have the layer cake picked out for it, and so I'm going to go with that. That'll be my next quilt that I'll be getting started on hopefully this weekend. Once I get the 5th row pieced, the putting together of the rows will go super fast because there's not a lot of, well, there's a lot of making the seams match up. I can't think of what the word is right now, but I'm a pinner, so I pin all my stuff in place to make sure it stays. I did make a couple of mistakes in this quilt that I was working on that I wanted to share. I started out making the quilt with one seam or one stitch length and switched over to a different stitch length, which caused some problems in my piecing. So I had to do a lot of easing in on this quilt. So I'm going to start using a shorter stitch length because I think it holds the ends. It's not for the middle, it's for the ends that I'm going to be doing that, because I've noticed that oftentimes the ends start coming loose because the thread is not tight enough in there. Anyway, that's probably more information than what you wanted to know, but it did cause me a lot of time in piecing the blocks together because I had to do so much easing in from one block to the next. So I am so thirsty. So I'm going to finish putting my lap quilt together and start another one this weekend. These are Christmas gifts that I'm making. Normally I would not be like whipping out lap quilts like that, but I got Christmas gifts to make. Okay, so those are my plans and what I've done for quilting for this week. My next thing is I've been crocheting. So I had, and her name is Angela F. I had a subscriber reach out to me. I actually had two of them, giving me pointers and tips on, and I think I talked about this earlier, on crochet. So Angela actually recommended this crochet hook to me. It is an LED. Ta-da! It is it's a LED crochet hook. I do not use the light. I have used it once in a darker situation, like it was light but it was dark. But it plays havoc with my eyes, so I don't use the light very often. But you see how thin that hook is? It's the thin hook, or the thin handle, not the hook. The hook is fine. I am afraid that I'm going to break the hook though, so I try to be very careful. It is a whole set that I ordered off of Amazon. And I will hold up, for those of you that may want to try crocheting or do crochet and are looking for some different hooks, here is what the name is. That is a CHUANGDI. I cannot pronounce it, but that's the name of the hooks you would look for. They were $20 for the whole set, including the case. And it has been a magnificent find for me. Thank you again, Angela, Angie. I had already thanked her. I reached out to her and told her that the hooks were doing wonderfully. So let me show you some of what I've been up to. This is... These are all double crochets. Now, this yarn I bought from Walmart because I said I wasn't going to be buying expensive yarn and I'm just practicing. So that's what this is. It's not even big enough to go around your neck. I mean, it barely goes around my neck. So it's not like I'm going to be doing. I could sit here with it on. Maybe I'll make me one. Ooh. Maybe I'll make me one for when the winter comes and I can just sit with it on my neck. Okay. I didn't really plan on making scarves, but you know, I can make a scarf. So that is double crochet. Then I made another, and this is half double crochet. Again, Walmart yarn. It is 100% cotton yarn though. I am using that because I could use these as scrubbies for my face. I mean, it's small enough. I do have some smaller ones. Here's another one. This one is single crochet, I think, or half double crochet. When I'm doing the stitch, I do recognize the stitch that I'm doing, but to look at the stitch and know what it is, I'm not there yet. I think this is a half double crochet because it is much taller than, say, this one. So this one is a double crochet. This one is a half double crochet because it is a little bit taller. I'm also still, I have not heard back from the 614 needle or knit studio about Miss Beth. You know, the instructor had I went to a class. The instructor had a medical emergency the next week when I was supposed to go back for the second class. But I figured that I'll still keep practicing so that I don't lose what I have gained, because my tension is so much better, as you can see. Oh, fell on the floor. Now it's gonna have dog hair on it. And my tension is so much better than in that first swatch that I showed. That it has the practicing has really been paying off, and this has just been in the last week, maybe week and a half. You can see in this one, I actually was trying different stitches. So in one spot, I put in a row of single crochet. Then I went back and did a double crochet. Then I did a half double crochet. I was really practicing moving from one stitch to another. Although now I watched a video yesterday where she was showing how to do different kind of stitches, and my head about exploded. So I'm not ready for different stitches yet. I'm gonna just keep practicing with the basics, pardon me, and wait to learn. The one thing that I do want to learn is how to do granny squares, and I'm going to learn how to do granny squares, but right now I'm just having a good time practicing with these little balls of yarn. So this is the yarn that I have gotten to practice with from Walmart. They're like $1.25. So I figured that and it's according to the instructor at the yarn shop, the feel is great, you know, for it to be from Walmart and as inexpensive as it is, it's a good practice yarn, and so that's what I'm using. So I'm gonna see how much. So this is one full ball. I don't know the lingo. This is one full cake. I do know that. This is probably a small cake. I'm going to try my hand at making a little neck scarf for myself and see how it comes out. It's not going to be a fancy scarf. It's just going to be one of them ones you can just swoop around your neck. But that's what I'm going to try. And this morning, I usually try to do some in the morning. And I have, so this morning I started this. They are all double half crochets, and the tension is looking great. So I know that I'm on the right track. So the goal for the crocheting is to just keep practicing. Like, I'm nowhere near ready to start making sweaters or anything like that. I'm just practicing This is something fun for me to do. I did take it to the doctor's office with me last week when I had to go to the doctor's, and was able to just sit there and crochet, and it was fun. So that is where I am with that new hobby. At some point in time, it won't be like tomorrow, it won't be next month, but I do plan on trying my hand at knitting. I was talking to a knitter at the shop, and she said, you know, crochet takes a lot more yarn, whereas knitting doesn't. And so some of the cows and things that you see people making, they only take one cake because it doesn't take as much yarn as what crochet does. So we'll see. I'm just practicing and playing around and having a good time learning something new. I have always tried something new when it comes to crafting. So it's not anything like I'm ultra serious about, although the yarn that I'm seeing is like OMG. So I have to really keep tight on the reins, because oh my goodness, the yarn is beautiful. Beautiful yarn, beautiful yarn. So that is what I have. I am getting the hooking down. I'm becoming a consistent hooker, which means that my stitches are consistent, my spacing is consistent, and I am enjoying it. I don't have any immediate plans, except for I'm going to try this little neck scarf thing, because I haven't learned either, like how to tie on a new skein. Like if I run out of thread, I don't know how to add more thread or yarn. But you know, I'll get there eventually. I'm so thirsty. So that is what is going on with the crochet. I'll be getting my WIPGO numbers were called yesterday morning. And my WIPGO is, you'd have thought I wrote it down in my notes. I spend all this time writing notes and then I forget one little thing. It is Vicky Stitching Buttons Choice, which was number 14, and a whip with an animal, which I'm really going to spend some time on, because I have a couple of whips that I'm thinking about that have animals on them, and I just need to see where I'm at in those, because my WIPGO goals are 700 stitches on each project. So I have so far, let me show you. So far I am doing really good with keeping up. That is my WIPGO board. As you can see, I have 3, 8, 12, and 20 still to go. But I have been making my WIPGO goals consistently every month, and I am thankful. I am considering, let me not say it that way. I will be doing WIPGO again next year. What I'm planning on is keeping it at the 700 stitches per project. Even though my friend wants me to move it to 800, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So WIPGO is still a go for next year. I think it takes, for those of you that are new to WIPGO, I think it takes you a couple of years to get in the groove of doing WIPGO, because when I first started it, I was doing days. Then I wasn't cool with that, because I was like forgetting about them. They were not coming to my forefront. This is the 3rd year that I have participated in WIPGO, and this year I have really got in the groove of doing it and keeping my projects ahead of me. So I work them into my cross sticks and all of that, and that is how I'm able to meet that 700 stitch mark goal. This past with ABCINGO, I put those projects in at least 3 times to make sure that I incorporated getting them stitched on and not lose sight of them in the throes of ABCINGO. So, you know, if you are considering WIPGO or participating in WIPGO and you're finding it a struggle, just adjust your goals and keep moving forward with it. Again, as Jessie Marie says, it's your board, your rules. You have to learn how to work it the best way it is for you. Okay, I don't have any more to share with you. Oh, yes, I do. We are coming up on October, and October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If you have not made your appointment to get your annual mammograms, please, please, please get on the ball and get your appointments made. A mammogram is your first line of defense in getting diagnosed and getting early treatment. I do have my appointment scheduled, although it's not until November. But I would encourage all women that are of the age to please remember to get your mammograms or schedule your appointments, because mammograms are super important in fighting breast cancer. And with that, I am going to say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.